Hey guys, it's Damien from JVNA Cosplay. Today I wanted to go over the process of finishing a 3D print, going over filling, sanding, priming, and painting. And I got this Deathclaw skull that I got off the Thingiverse. I'll link down below, and let's get into it.
Alright, let's see if I can get this out of here without breaking anything. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these supports. You can see already a couple of them came off as I was getting off the build plate. Alright, the jaw is loose because of the print failure. So I'm going to go in and I think I'm going to take hot glue and then just add a little bit of Alright, so it looks like the glue is dry. So I'm just going to take this over to the Dremel and just knock the edge of this down a little bit. I'm still going to leave it flat because I want to mount it and I'm going to use this as a mounting point. But I'm just going to knock down just this edge. There's just a little bit of string back here, and a little bit left over from the hot glue, so I'm just going to take this torch and alright, so now that we got the print failure taken care of and then the stringing, now we sand. Just going to sand it until it gets a decent. Alright, now that I got that filler primer on there, you can see just a lot more of what needs to be sanded and just what needs to be cleaned up a bit. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to give this just a little bit more of a sanding, and then I'm going to hit it with some Bondo and try and cover up a lot of this. Going to take one of these wire brushes, and these are great for ABS filament. This is HIPS filament and it's working alright, but not as good as it would on ABS. It doesn't work too well on PLA, but now I'm just going to take a microfiber cloth and wipe it down and get it ready for Bondo. So here I've got two different types of Bondo. I got this for filling in the deeper scratches, so like this part along the head here, and then to do some sculpting on this side, and this for most of it because this stuff is a lot easier to use and it's easier to spread. For this kind, it has an activator.
Alright, now that all this Bondo's cured, I'm going to sand it back just to get a more even surface all over the whole thing. And if I go back to using the 80 grit, it could sand into the print lines and just kind of erase my progress. So I'm going to start at 220 and then make my way up to this 320. And that's probably as high as I'll go on this, but get my wrist ruler. Now normally you'd want to sand it super smooth just so you could get a better surface finish. But this being a skull, I don't want to worry about that too much because it's gonna look old and worn anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wipe this off with another microfiber towel, and then I'm gonna hit it with some more filler primer, and then we'll see where we're at. Alright, so now that we got that base coat down, I'm going to start with a white paint. I'm going to mix in some yellow, and then I'll go in with brown and black. Now I'm gonna let that dry. Now that we got the white base coat on there, you can see I left some of the black in the deep details, and then I also have some of the more yellow tones and then a more white tone. What that's going to do is lead to a more uneven surface, which is what we're looking for whenever we're wanting to make something look old and dirty. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the browns, mix them with a little bit of water, and just cover this entire thing. And then I want to take a paper towel and wipe most of it away, so that way it'll stain the white paint and it'll give it an aged effect. Alright, now I'm going to let this brown layer dry. I'll come back and I'll do a layer of black as well. So I decided, instead of going straight to black, I'm going to do a yellow and a red wash. And what that's going to do is just give this more dimension, and just those extra layers just to break it up more. So I'm going to do the red first. And these I'm going to add more water. I'm going to go maybe 50-50 on water. Alright, now I'm going to let this layer fully dry, and I'm going to come back and do the yellow. Alright, I'm going to let all this completely dry. I might give it an hour, I might give it overnight. But then I'm going to come back, I'm going to do one last pass with black, and then we'll be done. Alright, now that that's dry, I'm going to do one last wash with the black paint. This one I'm going to go a lot in the crevices here, and down in here. Just where the dirt would have gathered and not been able to get out. Alright, now that's going to dry a little bit lighter, so I'm going to come back whenever it's dry, and then we'll be finished. Alright, so it looks like our skull is mostly dry, and I am so happy with how it came out. I wanted to give it a super world worn and dirty appearance. If you want to go lighter with it, you could, instead of doing a black wash, just do a gray wash, and then that wouldn't darken it as much. And then you could also skip the red and the yellow layers. I am happy with how this one came out, and I'm going to be mounting it at the entrance to my workshop. That being said, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and thank you for watching.